If you're tired of playing Batman Arkham the same way over and over again, then you will need to watch this video, as today we will be spicing things up by breaking the Batman Arkham games with tricks and glitches that you may have never seen before, especially if you haven't seen my previous videos. Some of these are really useful and can literally save you hours off a playthrough, while others are just plain dumb. Comment down below if you have any tips to keep your playthroughs of the games fresh, and let's get started. If you absolutely hate the Batmobile and want to limit the amount of time using it in Batman Arkham Knight, then this trick might be for you. Early on in Batman Arkham Knight, Batman heads to the Ace Chemicals to stop Scarecrow from detonating a fear gas bomb on Gotham. Before Batman aims to stop Scarecrow though, Batman needs to first save the 5 workers held hostage. One of these workers are being held deep underground that you would normally need the Batmobile in order to access. Starting off, you want to get the Batmobile into Ace Chemicals, which is pretty important so that you don't get completely soft locked. After taking out the militia drones that are in front of the Ace Chemicals, you will need to first go to the worker at the right side of the chemical plant. After saving him, you can leave the Batmobile there and come to the front of Ace Chemicals and land on top of these pipes. You then perform a forward roll into the wall and fall down, which should look something like this. Then the wall on your right does not have collision, so you can go through that. Then you have to glide towards the location that the worker is in. Aim for the lift where you're meant to go in, and then turn around for the room to load in. You can play the game just as normal until you realise you cannot progress any further because the Batmobile is nowhere near you to lift the elevator back up, but this can actually be used to your advantage, as remote controlling the Batmobile works even though the car is far away, and as the Batmobile is at the front of the Ace Chemicals, we can just drive to Gordon where you're meant to leave the workers. Doing this triggers the scene where Batman drops the workers off somewhere safe. What's even crazier is that your next objective is to go after Scarecrow, meaning that you just skipped the Arkham Knight boss fight. And as well, you only ended up checking out 3 of the 5 other workers, meaning that you've just saved yourself a heap of time. Let me know if you will try this in your next playthrough. A guy that I'm sure we all have a love-hate relationship with is the Riddler, so any opportunity to shut him up should be taken. Early on in Batman Arkham Asylum, we get introduced to the Riddler around 30 minutes into the game, who gives us a lengthy speech, basically telling us how he's better than us.
Yes, it is I, Edward Nigma, the Riddler, and more importantly, your intellectual superior.
The trick you can use here cuts this dialogue pretty quickly. The issue is that it is also extremely risky due to the fact that it sometimes can soft lock your game and waste precious time. Just as you discover that Officer Balls has been game ended, run to the vent where you first came from to enter the room, walk around in the vent till you see this saving game icon pop up. You can then restart from the last checkpoint, which will put you back in the vent, but will also skip to the part where you need to find the painting for the riddle. From what I hear, there's a high chance that the game will softlock and no riddle will display, leaving you pretty much screwed. If you have no interest in fighting Mr. Hammer in the early stages of the game, when we are tracking down the Joker, here's a trick you can do once you get access to the REC gun. This trick is called the Mr. Hammer trick, and in order to do this, you will need to shoot the REC gun, and at the same time switch to your explosive gel. If you've done this quick enough, you should get a glitch called the standing storage, where you cannot move and are holding the explosive gel. To exit this, you will need to quickfire a batarang, and then grapple onto the ledge. Before climbing up, you need to hold the aim button on your explosive gel. Then while holding aim, switch to your REC gun, which will make you fall. Once your head goes below the lights here, press the button you would use to climb, and this will allow you to climb without getting kicked by Mr. Hammer. Then you need to roll forward in order to get this cutscene. You probably do need a lot of practice with this one to get the timing right, as in the time it took me to actually figure out how to do the trick, it would have been a lot faster and less stressful to actually just do the Mr. Hammer fight, but it was super satisfying when I actually did get the trick right. Every second counts when speedrunning Batman Arkham City, so did you know that when we enter the steel mill via the main chimney, we usually need to traverse through obstacles in order to make our way to the loading bay? Early on in this section we can find a rail that is too hot to touch, and in order to cool this rail, we need to use the back claw to pull this water source open, and once it's cooled down we can jump onto the corner of this rail and drop down on top of the rail below. We can then run and jump onto this wall and quickly dive bomb to hit this rail again. Then we can glide across, saving a good chunk of time. This may take a few attempts to get used to, but once you get used to it, the strategy can save you a couple of minutes, and it's pretty cool if successfully executed, unlike what I did for the first 10 or so attempts. Sometimes Arkham Batman may not feel in the mood for Predator sections, and if so, then that's okay. After saving Dr. Chen, Kellerman, and Young, Batman heads back to the sanatorium. Our reunion though is interrupted by Joker thugs who are coming up from the floor below. Instead of taking the thugs on like most people do, we can actually just sneak into the elevator straight away, although there's a high chance that the thugs will spot you.
The frog says he's in here somewhere. Spread out.
If you knew about that simple skip already and want to do something even better, well, what if I told you you can completely skip that entire section where you need to save the doctors and get straight to the first Scarecrow encounter? After taking out the thugs in the sanatorium the first time, we can take corner cover up here. Select your explosive gel and then start spamming the quickfire batarangs. While doing this, also spam the buttons you would do to detonate the explosive gel. If done correctly, Batman will get out of corner cover, most likely holding the explosive gel in his hand. Select the batarang icon in your gadgets and this will put you into corner cover again, but this time when you throw the batarang, you will zip into the wall. You will need to crawl to this part of the vent and then glide around these walls and then drop where you see the object sticking out to the wall. If you hit this correctly and done quick enough, this will trigger the cutscene where you first meet Dr. Crane, completely skipping the objective of saving the doctors. The skip can also be used to escape Arkham Asylum. If you're bored during your New Game Plus playthrough of Batman Arkham City, here's something pretty pointless you can do. When tracking down the League of Assassins in order to get Ra's al Ghul's blood for the cure, we have to figure out how to get access to the passageway that the ninja had taken. In a normal playthrough, a ninja will appear that Batman counters and uses her sword in order to open the secret passageway. But in the New Game Plus version of the game, we actually get access to all the gadgets that we got in the first playthrough, meaning we could place a freeze grenade mine, and when the ninja gets close to attacking Batman, she will be frozen.
It looks like a sword fits here.
It's pretty cool to mess around with in-game QuickTime events, but definitely do not attempt this if you're planning on speedrunning, as it can take quite a while for the ninja to defrost. Surprisingly, this also works in Batman Arkham Origins, just not quite as effective. When we hear a crying baby in the middle of nowhere and investigate, it turns out to be an ambush by Shiva. Something we can do to ambush her instead is by throwing a glue grenade proximity mine down on the side of the pram where the $sign store is located. Now the next time you investigate, Shiva will be stuck in the glue.
There's nothing here.
But will still manage to hit you, making it not as effective as freezing the Arkham City ninja. This next trick is extremely difficult but can save you hours of your playthrough in Batman Arkham Origins. After disabling Riddler's jamming system, we continue our way to Jezebel Plaza to interrupt an arms deal. Beside this though is a roof with no collision. Speedrunners will actually use this to their advantage in order to do a massive skip, as shown here by Pepsi Runs, as I honestly do not have the skills to perform this maneuver whatsoever. If you somehow manage to execute this, well, firstly congrats, but secondly this can cut off a huge amount of time by doing this. If the story of Arkham Origins was based on this run, we would be going from disabling Riddler's jamming system to Bane finding out Batman's identity in only 14 minutes and 46 seconds. This is insane to think about, as this means skipping the final offer, Deathstroke's fight, investigating Lacey Towers, sneaking into the GCPD, meeting Joker for the first time, fighting Copperhead, going to the Royal Hotel, meeting Joker again, fighting Bane for the first time, heading to the GCPD morgue, and then finally going to Bane's headquarters. Now, from my understanding, this trick can be extremely difficult on controller and is more suitable for keyboard and mouse users, but footage provided by FCAB shows us that there is another way to do it using a controller. Comment down below if you're going to attempt this in your next playthrough.
They're fighting that freak.
If you only have 20 minutes to complete a game, then why not play Batman Arkham City, more specifically the new Game Plus mode, which gives you access to gadgets that you unlocked in your first playthrough. With this in mind, you can go on and basically play the game as you normally would, get captured by Hugo Strange, make your way into Arkham City, to then being captured by the Penguin. Once you deal with Penguin, you make your way up on top of Ace Chemicals and get your suit. After this, you will need to use your line launcher to this building, but once you get close to the ledge of the building you want to wire walk. You will then want to do the trick for the Dr. Hammer skip that I showed you earlier, which if done correctly you will be standing with the explosive gel. Then you will want to aim your batarang and throw it, which should warp you outside of the city walls. Then you should dive bomb down and see a door floating in the middle of nowhere, and by gliding to this door will load the environment around you, which is actually the Arkham City processing center where you were at the start of the game. You can then make your way to Wonder City and play out the game as you normally do. Here's an example of Elite 1608 who used this trick in his speedrun and ended up beating the game in only 15 minutes and 39 seconds. Funnily enough, this trick completely breaks the story of Batman Arkham City, as Batman has not met the Joker yet and does not get Joker's poison blood, so Batman appears to just be drinking the cure for no reason but just to troll the Joker. You've probably seen this in my previous facts video, but if you haven't, there's a super simple trick in order to get through the first Arkham Asylum boss battle in under 20 seconds. When the boss fight starts, you need to run to this corner straight away, allow the Titan to hit you multiple times till your health is really low, but before the Titan can game end you though, the Titan will have a heart attack and collapse. This is probably set up by Rocksteady to help people that are struggling and unable to beat the boss fight. Comment down below your favourite trick or glitch. Let me know if there's any that I missed or didn't know about. Be sure to like and subscribe. That's all for now. My name is Fo and Slan.